Okay, let's look at go up to the pink one now for those of you that are not happy with the school named. All right, if you decide that you are going to give the school a shot, then we've got an annual review blog there, which will be useful because annual review will become your focus, and getting any issues with the plan, or you have a chance at annual review every year to name a different school as a parental preference as well. There's also an annual review webinar, which I would suggest our webinars are £15. They're very reasonable. They talk you through step by step. They hold your hand through the whole process, and they provide you with an extensive resource pack of templates, guides. It will give you everything you need, but it's no good buying the annual review webinar even a week before your annual review. You need to be really tapping into that webinar 2 or 3 months before your annual review. You can watch it repeatedly. You can download the resource pack. But it's an annual review is not something to start to think about the week before. You will not have time to prepare for it. 2 to 3 months before, put it in your diary, and start to prepare. There's one other thing that I just want to say about that I have used quite successfully with other parents. When they've realised that when they're not happy with the school name, they wanted special usually, and mainstream's been named, and the particular mainstream that's been named, they're particularly not happy with, for whatever reason. Perhaps they were happy at one point, but they've become unhappy, or they're not happy right from the start with that particular mainstream. And you can go now and have a look around other mainstreams and find a more supportive mainstream, one that you just get a better feel about, one that the Senko seems more approachable, one that instills you in more confidence that they will really look after your little one for their reception year and help and support you. And you can ask your local authority to name that, and you can put in an appeal naming a different mainstream, and that is likely to be resolved really quickly. The local authority will be happy to work with you to move them from one mainstream to another, as long as that mainstream has space and can offer them a place. So there is another bit of a get out. And sometimes when you're faced with difficult decisions like that, it's worth looking at schools that are a little bit further away, that perhaps wouldn't have been on your radar to begin with, asking in local parent special needs Facebook groups about schools that they recommend. Okay, let's move on to the appeal resources then. If you've decided you're going to appeal, and the key thing for deciding you're going to appeal really comes down to evidence. We'll unpick that a bit more in the next slide, but when you're deciding whether you're going to give the school a shot or whether you're going to appeal, you need to be thinking about what evidence you've got. And we've got some things to help you. We've got an Appealing a School Place blog. I think it's called Help, I'm Not Happy with the School Named in My Child's EHCP. That's the right place to start. The next place then is to go and buy the webinar. We've got a webinar which will support you. I know there's lots of questions come in tonight. What do I do? How do I do this on the SEND 35? How do I do that on the SEND 35? What do I send with my SEND 35? That webinar will tell you. It talks you through the whole first part of the process, how to get the appeal lodged. It gives you example SEND 35s, example evidence lists, templates that you fill in, and it gives you examples for different types of children as well, some of which you will recognise as your own child, I'm sure. So that's the place you need to go to help you lodge an appeal if that's what you decide. We've talked about checking your EHCP. It's imperative, if you're going to appeal, that you know where the gaps in your EHCP are, and it's imperative, if you're going to use the next annual review to resolve the issues in your EHCP, that you know where the gaps and the downfalls in your EHCP are. We've got an EHCP checking blog. Great place to start. We've got 2 EHCP checking webinars. We also offer 3 bespoke EHCP checking services. Have a look at those and think about those. But the only way you're going to know what's wrong with an EHCP is to either educate yourself how to do it or work with somebody reputable to do it for you. What else should you do? Well, You should sign up for our newsletter if you haven't already, because as well as giving you half-termly great snippets of news, that's how the invites to our drop-ins come out. We don't we run these drop-ins every 2 weeks. Sometimes they follow a theme, sometimes they're general. We keep the numbers very small. We've thrown this open tonight and put it in the Facebook group for anyone to join. Usually they're more interactive. We do a presentation for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we throw it open to questions and answers from the floor. They're free and they're every 2 weeks. If you want to get an invite to those, you need to sign up to our newsletter. You can book a meeting. That's the link there to our meetings. You can book a meeting there directly with me. There's meetings, half an hour is usually long enough. And those meetings can be recorded so that you've got a record of what's said. You go back and listen to it again, and you'll come out of that with an action plan of what to do. You can book a bespoke EHCP check there. Please use our EHCP check email if you are booking an EHCP check. If you use the admin one by accident, it might just cause a bit of delay. The quickest way is through the bespoke EHCP check email address, which is there.